Welcome to Practical Talk. I'm your host, Pastor Wendell Jeffrey. Namaste, Salam Alaikum, Christian greetings. In the studio with me today is Dr. Vishnu Bandhu. We'll be having this ongoing discussion about Guyana, where we see Guyana. This discussion is going all across Guyana and wider field as folks are seeing us on the electronic media. Before we get into our discussion, let's get into our segment Talking Practically. The judiciary is massively being politicized, and if it is not checked, Guyana will be the worse for it. Many of the legal luminaries, past and present, seems bent on making a ruling that do not stand the judicial muster test. Rather, what it does, it shows the partiality and the political bias. For instance, we had the ruling that the presidential two-term, the constitutional enactment, is now unconstitutional and it should not stand. This means that the only president who was legally restricted by the initial constitutional adjustment is now the only president who can benefit from the now adjudged unconstitutional adjustment. and the judge who made the ruling is believed to have a supporter of the president or of the party of the president. Both the judges and the party who is now benefiting from the ruling was his friend. And in order to mitigate the negative effects of the political rulings, the current president, using age as the barometer, sent the judge on leave and then into retirement. But the quandary that the action has caused and created is that the president has politically inserted himself in matters of the judiciary so as to prevent the judiciary from behaving politically. And that's a quandary. And neither of these should have happened. Neither of these. The preferred symbol of justice, at least the one used in the United States, is a blindfolded lady with a balance scale in her hand. The imagery is blatant, and it says in clear tones that the justice should be both blind and evenly balanced. However, what we have long had in Guyana is a precipitous corrupting of the judiciary and our judicial system by those who wield political and financial clout in this country. It was long believed that both the former acting Chief Justice and the former Chancellor were in the corner of the former administration. And many say that the only reason that they could not have been made substantive in their positions is because the leader of the then opposition, Mr. David Granger, would not have agreed or sanctioned their judicial or administrative elevation. And there seemed to be some support for the claim of political biases in light of the rulings that were made by both of these jurists in their parting days in office. In the final acts of both the Chief Justice and the Chancellor, two significant rulings were made, both of which favor Mr. Jagdeo and by extension the PPP. First, Chief Justice Eon Chan ruled that there is no constitutionality to the term limits, and so he scrapped the two-term presidential limit clause from the Constitution. This is something he did just as he was leaving office, and then recently, also as he was about to demit office, the Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Carl Singh, upheld Justice Eon Chan's ruling on the negation of the presidential term limits. And further, Justice Singh threw out the race-baiting charge that was brought against Mr. Jagdeo. And since those judgments, some have argued that politics, or at least party preference, must have played a part in those rulings. The United Republican Party is therefore very heartened by the latest significant ruling by the newly appointed acting Chief Justice, Madam Yonette Cummings Edwards. In the matter of the Red House versus the Lands and Surveys and the President, she has ruled that the local courts do have jurisdiction to hear the matter. She ruled that. And so for the first time since in the 80s, the sitting president will be subject to the courts here in Guyana and will have to answer to the courts in Guyana. This means that a judge that was appointed by the current administration has looked at the Constitution and the law and interpreted it on its merit and ruled against the very president who appointed her. Now this single act, it speaks volumes as it pours cold water on the previous perceived political judgments, and what this judgment that the new Chief Justice has done is set precedent for all her subordinate jurists to follow. And this is the kind of judicious non-partiality, non-political rulings that will speak to the development and the progress of Guyana. The United Republican Party, therefore, salutes the action of the acting Chief Justice on this matter. And we say that this is the kind of judicial, non-biased, non-political rulings that will help to move Guyana forward. And the URP congratulates Ms. Yvonne, the acting chancellor, on this matter. And that's talking practical. Thank you very much. Doc, another week.
Yep.
Another week here. How you doing? How you doing,
I'm doing
Doc?
fine.
I like to find out how you're doing because you do a lot of travel overseas. You're traveling across Guyana.
I'm doing good.
And so you're doing fine.
Fine.
You're doing fine. Doc, as we go around the country, the people who have been subject to the politics and the political shenanigans in Guyana have been asking a question repeatedly, no matter where we go. And they're saying, you guys are offering to be a third party and to be objective. But how do we know, that's what the people are asking, that you guys would not do what the AFC has done and you guys would not collate with one of the current parties because you all want political power? How do you answer that?
That is very simple, Pastor. If the URP had wanted political power, they would have associated themselves or collate even with the last government, because we were asked to join the last APNU. We was also asked to join with the PPP, but we did not, because we know their thoughts are different, totally different than the URP. We have a more free enterprise. We have a more democratic way of going about things. We think that the people's voice must be heard. And I think I made this statement in one of our program before, that if the URP even had one seat, it will stay alone. And I want the people to know that. And you should be able to check our history, the URP history. Check my history, right? And then you will know that the URP will, no matter what, it will stand alone. Because this is what the policy of the URP from the inception in 1985 to now. And will remain on that way. So the URP is nowhere. And furthermore, if you want to ensure that, you the viewer, and those of you who have that in your mind, I challenge you to come and join with the URP so that you see no such thing will ever take place. It is you will be there to understand that these kind of problem would not occur because you will be there. So I challenge you, each and every one of you, to come aboard.
Beautiful. Okay, because you were around when the APNU was being formed.
Yes.
And there were parties who were less significant than yours,
yes,
who are now a part of the coalition. So of course,
because in fact, many people who would ask me to go there.
Okay.
You know, like writers and so forth who would ask me to go with the APNU. They meet me sometime and they said, man, you would be a minister today. I said, that was not my ambition to be a minister. You know, that was never my ambition. In fact, my ambition was never even to lead the URP. But it was you know, by supporter, it was, you know, they had insisted that, look, if I am not run the URP, they will not be a part of it. Because the URP had leaders before, we'd let them down. And they know that I would not let them down.
Okay. Beautiful. Doc, let's talk a little about this. You talk about the international marketing system and the micro export and so on. As you seek to cast a vision of what the URP will bring to the table when once we get into power, or get into the parliament, we could lend ideas and concepts. Talk a little about that.
The international marketing system that the URP planning to have, it's to set up an international market system so that we can look at produce that we have in this country, what we have, so that we can seek market in foreign countries. Now the marketing system and the micro export, it work hand in hand. What is micro export?
Small.
You know, it's sending out, like you individual, you're planting your pumpkin or your balanchi or whatever you plant as cash crop, and you have a market. We'll provide you with people from different countries, different islands and so forth, with name that you can be able to have direct connection also with them to sell your produce to them. So you will be able to go now. We'll try to make an arrangement with shipping companies, right? To ship less than LCL, mean less than a container load.
Okay.
Right? LCL, that's what it means in the abbreviation of shipping. Less than a container load. Okay. Right now we're selling sending out container load. We would like to try to engage in shipping company. We will accept less than container. Like if you have a barrel, like how we send from New York to Guyana, or any part of the Caribbean, we must be able to send that. And we should not be able to go through a broker to do that. We should the GRA should have a form that we will have all the information you will fill out on that form. Of course, they'll go through the normal examination from the custom to that. But what you do, you cutting out the broker's fee, right? You're cutting out the middleman, because the middleman at most time have the biggest profit.
Makes the most money.
They make most money in it. So if you are producing things and you can ship it direct, you can ship your rice direct less than a container load. You got a couple of acres, you mill your rice, and you can able to ship it to one of these countries who accept your rice at a fair price. So you will be able to make more money. So what happened? The international marketing system and the micro market exporting and the LCL, everything work together, right? We will engage different countries in the different islands, right? To encourage them also to do micro export, less than container loads.
So what we're doing here, the intention is to get Guyana to where Guyana finally lives up to the talking point of being the breadbasket of the Caribbean, because we've always talked, I mean, I'm 49 and I've always heard about this Guyana being the breadbasket of the Caribbean. So what you're talking about is a system that will actually move Guyana towards being the breadbasket of the Caribbean.
Definitely go back to that system. And with our land and our kind of resource in the agricultural and so forth, we can feed more than the Caribbean. We can feed North America, some of North America, because of what we have. But the idea is to have the right strategy
It has to be a strategy.
Yeah, in doing this. And URP has those kind of strategies. Because we have been exposed there for a number of years overseas. We know how to go about doing these things and how not to do it. Okay. Right? So the URP has and most of the answer, maybe not all the answer, but most of the answer for the agricultural section. And we have to focus seriously on agriculture in Guyana, because agriculture is our main source of income in Guyana.
You know, Doc, I did some agriculture, and I was talking at the last program about the fact that I was a farmer in Barbados. I also cut cane in Barbados as a teenager and as a young adult. Agriculture today does not have to be labor intensive. They have all kinds of best practices in agriculture.
Yeah, machinery, everything.
That allows, yes. You know, I mean, you have you could now irrigate electronically, put in the nutrients and the water right at the base of the plant.
Definitely.
You know, you can harvest stuff electronically and prepare it. So when people hear agriculture, sometimes they think it's so labor intensive and it can't work and stuff like that.
No, not at all.
The mechanizations that they have now.
Not at all. 3-4 of you can plant 100 acres of agriculture.
Exactly.
And exactly. It's all about management.
Yeah.
It's all about caring.
Yes, sir.
You know, to care these plants. How you go about? You got to check them often. See what it needs and what it doesn't need. Correct. You know. So if online you keep on checking, it's like a baby. You know, when the baby born, you try to nurture the baby, try to do things to the baby to grow. The same thing with agriculture.
And if a number of the people who are currently unemployed or underemployed, agriculture can be, when once, like you were talking about, when once you have systems in place where there is market for the produce, because a number of people are concerned that if I were to get into agriculture, to whom do I sell my produce?
Definitely,
and so on. But what you're talking about is creating the marketing system.
Yes. You have to create the market system. You see what happened in our country. We plant blindly in Guyana. A portion field that grow, the land they produce boro grows nice, so they keep on planting boro. You know, but you have to plant that what you will get market for, and at a reasonable price, so that it can able to pay you for your cultivation, right? Otherwise, you can't plant. Now, we can't go around and tell people, like this government, I went in an area and they said, the government people come and said, we must plant papa, right? And I said, did they tell you where they will sell the papa to? They said, no, they don't have market for it, but they tell us to plant. We said, isn't that stupid for you to tell somebody to plant something and you don't have market for them?
You don't have the market.
We are facing this marketing system in our entire country, because government are telling you, like what they tell the rice people, they will give them $9,000 back for paddies. And then when they win the election, they said, you know, rice is a private industry. You got to see your own market. The same thing they said about the cash crops. You know, you're talking about fry fish, and the president talk about fry fish and fry this and cook up rice and all kind of thing. That would not carry this country forward.
You need a massive marketing plan, and I guess we have Go Invest, and they've been involved in some struggles lately. However, if we could market the produce of Guyana, I'm so excited. I travel around the world and I see the produce that they have, and I know it's not coming from Guyana. But Guyana needs to get in the rough and tumble, and we need a formal marketing system for our agricultural produce. And we could feed and house and clothe our nation using the agriculture process.
Pastor, we have to cut out many of these red tapes that we have in Guyana.
I know we have a lot of.
If we cut out the red tapes what we have in Guyana, and we have honest and sincere people who are thinking about their people in Guyana, we will have no poverty in Guyana. We will get out of poverty. We will see smiles on all these people's faces all over this country. Today you go around the country, People mouth is puffed up. They are so serious.
Tense.
They are studying, where would they get the next meal from? They are studying, where would I get money to send my children to school tomorrow? And the stress is so much on our people. Look, I just came from the highway a couple days ago, and they told me, they said, President Granger, come and promise us all things here, but he give buses to Linden and all the different area to transport their children, but we in the highway, we haven't got anything because we are probably, few.
Yeah.
Right?
We seem to lack the vision. And for 50 years, Guyana has been a victim of a lack of vision. Because, we got countries that's smaller than us. We got these little islands and they're getting through. But somehow or another, our politicians seem to lack the vision, or they lack the patriotic desires for this country. And so we're not making progress, not because we're not hardworking. Guyanese are the hardest working people.
You remind me of something on the last administration, the PPP administration. I could recall that many of us who had been coming from overseas, if we try to give these guys an advice, because we come from overseas, they will not take the advice. And because we are not in that PPP circle, they will not take the advice. And I think the same thing is happening with this current administration. They will not take our advice. Look, the URP have been doing so much across this country. The president said at his election that, when I won the election, I will include all the political party and all the people. They'll call them and have discussion with them. They never even called the URP one day. Never ever call the URP to find out anything.
I guess now that the president is listening, he will call you. Because I too remember that President Granger, as the leader of the opposition, he was clear when he said that he does not agree with the winner-take-all approach to politics. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He said he doesn't agree with the winner-take-all, that he's going to have a big tent.
Yeah.
His approach is going to be a big tent approach to politics. So like you're saying, Doc, maybe he has a lot on his plate, but, you're going to get a call.
No, I doubt we'll get a call, because as long as you talk against these, the wrong things that they're doing, you will not get a call from them. The same thing in the past administration, and the same thing with this administration.
You're giving up, Doc?
No, I'm not giving up. But what he will call me to tell me?
No, he'll call you to tell you, Doc, I have a portfolio for you. Here he tell you. Let me tell you what he tell you. He'll say, I have a portfolio for you. You've traveled extensively over these many years. You've lived overseas. You've built up your own personal wealth as a result of knowing how to do business. You are claiming that Guyana can become the breadbasket of the Caribbean. We've got some things, but if you could come aboard and help us, we would like that. Would you be willing to come aboard? The president is going to call you because he ran on the Big Tent.
What will be in the return of calling me aboard? Would sign up with the APNU?
No. You're gonna remain at the URP and the lead of the URP, but because he's a Big Tent president, he's going to call you in, and you are going to be able to bring your ideas to the current administration, because that's what they said. Donald Trump is changing.
I can never see that will happen. I can never see that happen.
Doc, don't lose heart.
No, I'm not losing heart. I can never see that happen. Happen with this administration.
Oh man! No. All right, Doc. As you go around the country, you realize that even though Guyana is a young population, our population is young. Upwards of 60% of our population is below 35. But we still have the ingrained racism and political ideologies that people are not prepared to shift from. What are you finding out when you talk to the young people as you go around the country in your outreach programs?
Well, earlier we've been talking, and the last program we've been talking about race. I haven't seen the race problem in the younger generation.
Okay.
I have seen a different way of unity amongst the race in the younger generation.
That's good news.
Right? I have seen that clearly, and the young people doesn't want to hear but black man and coolie man.
Okay.
Right? The young people want to know how they were able to put food in their stomach, how they were able to put shirt in their backs, and how they were able to have a shelter on the head, over their head, and how they can have a family and be happy.
So
Right?
you're making a deliberate approach overtures to the younger
Definitely, because nobody looks at the
generation.
younger people in this country. Nobody looks at the young generation. All the talk they talk on the election campaign, it was a scam. Nobody concerned about the younger generation in Guyana. The URP are trying to pave a way for the younger generation, so that because we realize that the younger generation is the people of tomorrow, right? And we are working with them to see that they will be able to have a better life. We cannot have our children going to university, spend so many years, graduate with a big certificate, and when they come out, they have to kick brick on the road. They don't have jobs.
Many of them are leaving.
Many of our girls on the street picking fares. Many of them go out of this country in the Caribbean picking fares. We cannot afford that. Guyana, we must be proud. Like one time in our life, we was proud Guyanese. We must always be proud again. We must be proud when we go to a country. We say, "Look, I am a Guyanese."
Yes, sir.
And this is what the URP want to see.
Bringing back the form.
Bringing back that form that
glory.
People will be able to understand that as Guyanese, we are proud people. We will not be a beggar anymore. We have been a beggar for a number of years in Guyana. We have been depending on barrel and money from outside. If we don't get the barrel and money from the North America and even the Caribbean country, many of our people will be starving in Guyana. And you know that, Pastor.
Of course, we
Right?
we deal on folks sending finances back and clothes and even food stuff.
Yes.
In some instance, we could not live, and we've got to change that. And I'm glad that you're saying that the URP is focusing on how best we can change what we have been known for the last 50 years. We can't continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Doc, we out of time. I want you to look in the camera and make a passionate plea to the Guyanese people as you think of the URP and your plans. What can you tell the folks that you think would again help to cement in their mind that the URP is a different political party than what we now have?
To the viewers, those of you who are looking at our programs, I thank you. But have an open heart in whatever we are saying. We are very sincere. We are very honest in what we are saying. We love you. We care for you. And this is why we are trying to do as much as we can do to make a difference in Guyana. Please do not make these big-time politicians corrupt your brain and tell you all kind of lies when the time for election in voting. Today, since the election had happened, you haven't seen any one of these government people who were politicking out there, or even the opposition out there to the people, meeting with the people. It is only the URP has been going out. It is the only party, the URP, that have been trying to educate our people in Guyana today. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for listening. Remember, you can follow us on the World Wide Web, www.urpguyana.com. On the Facebook, we at URP Guyana, our Facebook page. Join us again next week, same time, same station. God bless you. God bless Guyana. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.